Hey folks, most of you on this channel know me. For those of you that don't, my name's Corey Hershkowitz. I'm a working cowboy, day worker, do a little bit of big loop roping, stuff like that. I had a question on my channel saying, could you do a video or video series teaching me how to rope? I thought about it for a minute, and I think the way that it's going to work best for you guys and for myself is I'm going to break it down into a video series. Obviously, this is episode 1. We'll start here. But where it goes from here and how fast it progresses is going to be up to you guys. It's going to be my Tuesday video series from now until the questions run out. I'll take it as far as you guys are interested. We're going to start today just by talking about a rope, about the different kinds of ropes, get you introduced to some rope terminology, and give you my personal preferences on ropes and what kind of rope you should carry, when you should carry it. That being kind of the basis of roping. At the very end of the video today, I'll show you how to start developing your swing. It's going to be crucial here that you guys give me feedback and ask questions. In that, the questions that I get from today's video will be the topics of next Tuesday's video. So like I said, how fast the series progresses and how far we take it kind of depends on you guys. I have no problems if we take it all the way up to where we're horseback talking about setting shots up with cattle. I would love that. It would be great if it went that far. You know, if it goes a couple videos and kind of the questions peter out and I've answered the questions that you guys have, then we'll stop there and we'll find something else to do on Tuesday videos. But I guess we'll just get into it. There are we'll call it 5 kinds of ropes. The first kind is like a team roper's rope. They're mostly, as far as I know, all 100% nylon, 32 to 35 foot long. In what I do, I have no use for them. I don't like how they feel. I don't like how short they are. They're made for one thing, and that is going very fast in a rodeo arena. And they do great for that, and the guys that do that do great with them. I rope differently. I expect different things of myself and my rope. Another kind of rope that we're not going to really delve much into is called a maguey rope. It's made out of the fibers of the maguey plant. That type of rope is like what you see charros using, like the Mexican trick ropers, or where they front foot their horse, dally off, and smoke their saddle horn. That is super cool stuff. I've owned a maguey rope. I've roped with it. I didn't do none of the fancy stuff the charros do. They are a unique animal. Basically, if this series goes far enough to where I have to buy a maguey rope to show you guys, then we've done all right here, because we're in some pretty advanced stuff. Stuff that I will be learning as I teach it almost. The 3 kinds of ropes that we're going to talk about today. First is a poly nylon blend. It's like that nylon team roper's rope, but like on this rope, you can see it's got these black speckles. That's strands of poly in it, and that makes this rope a little bit softer and a little bit heavier. The second kind of rope is a straight poly rope. This rope is 100% poly, fairly soft. This one's got a little bit of memory to it. And a trait of almost all polys is how heavy they are. Third type of rope is a cotton, whether it be a waxed, dry, treated with linseed oil, or painted. Cotton ropes are their own animal also. They're very unique. Cotton ropes can have a lot of different attributes to them. Some of them are very stiff, some are very soft. Some of them feel really good after they're painted or linseed oiled, or feel good waxed. Um, Cotton ropes are kind of like building your own hot rod versus buying a hot rod pre-built. You gotta put some work into it, and if you enjoy kind of the DIY side of things, then a cotton rope's probably going to be a fun investment. The cotton rope's best attribute is how durable it is. For a working cowboy, it is by far, hands down, no question, undisputed champion of bang for your buck in terms of how long you will have that rope. Cost is extremely comparable. It's right there with the same price as polys or the poly nylon blends. They're all right about the same cost roughly, but the cotton ropes will outlast a poly or a poly blend by far. I mean like 10 times as long. Cotton ropes are dirty tough. I guess let's talk a little bit about when I would carry what. I just said, if you're a working cowboy or you're looking to be a working cowboy and you're not quite sure what you want to carry, get you a couple cotton ropes. Personally, I always bought 2 or 3 at a time, picked out my favorite. Maybe there was 2 of the 3 I liked, and the third one I didn't get along with, didn't feel right, whatever. Turn that one into tie strings. As a working cowboy, you'll always go through a bunch of tie strings. The cotton also does get very stiff when it gets wet or in a humid environment. So if you're in the desert, that's probably not too big of a deal. If you're in a spot where you're in mud or water or extreme humidity constantly, you may want to shy away from the cottons just because of how stiff and cable-like they can get. Okay, polys. A poly is, you know what, we'll do polys last. We'll go to the poly nylon blend, which is the one sitting my feet down there. That is a pretty good rope all the way around. It's gonna do good enough at everything to do everything. And it's a good rope for a beginner. It's a good rope for an experienced roper. They're kind of the jack of all trades, but they don't have any standout attributes. No judgment against anybody that packs a poly nylon blend on their saddle full time. Some guys like them a lot. I prefer to carry a poly nylon blend, like when I'm on a colt that I may be like throwing the first couple loops off of, where I need a little bit extra forgiveness, shall we say, in a rope. Or like if I take a colt to his first several brandings where he's still trying to figure out what's going on, that poly nylon blend is an excellent choice for that. Another thing the poly nylons do really well, better than a poly, is if you're dragging stuff into a trailer, that poly nylon is going to survive it a lot better than a poly would. Polys, they get kind of upset about that, shall we say. They get injured easily. That brings us to the straight polys. They are great for necking baby calves because they're fast. They're pretty good in the wind because they're heavy. The hard part with a poly is going to be healing with them because a poly's so soft it won't want to stand up. So guys that can consistently catch 2 feet with a poly, not only are they roping correctly, but they're working their horse correctly. A poly can do so much. Think of it. Think of it as like driving a supercar. If you don't really know how to drive, you're probably going to wreck it. Poly is the same way. If you really don't know what you're doing very, very well, a poly rope is really going to be a struggle for you. That being said, once you get your skills and abilities up to a certain level, there are a whole lot of shots that you can do with a poly rope that will not work correctly with a nylon or a cotton, generally speaking, because of the attributes that the polys have. That'll move us into talking about the main attributes of a rope. The 2 biggest attributes of a rope are weight and stiffness. Weight, that's pretty simple. You could measure it in whatever metrics you want, ounces per foot or pounds per 30 foot, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. What might not seem like a big difference on paper, will feel like a big difference when you're swinging it. So like this gold mine right here, it has it's a 3-strand rope, which means that there's 3 main strands twisted together to build the body of the rope, and it has 2 lead cores. I believe, no, I lied to you. It has 3 lead cores, 1 per strand of poly. I don't know if the camera's focusing on that. I'm sorry if it's not. Okay, so some poly ropes have 2, some have 3. Some are twisted a little tighter, some are twisted a little bit looser. Some are bigger around, there's more material. Some are smaller around, there's less material. All of those changes affect a poly's weight and stiffness. Sometimes they call the stiffness lay. Same term, different meaning as far as I know. Polys are not graded on the scale of extra soft, extra soft, or triple extra soft. That's a nylon thing. Basically, just consider all polys extra soft. Okay? Your poly nylon blend right there, that is a great beginner's rope. I know I'm going to get the question 100 times on this video, and I have no problem repeating on the next video. My recommendation for a beginner roper is a 50-foot extra soft 3/8 scant tracer. I believe that's a 5/16 tracer. That 3/8 scant will just be a little bit less in your hands. That's going to be a great combination of a rope that you're going to have to throw correctly, but will have some forgiveness. The loop will stay open if you try and overpower it a little bit too much, or if you set a heel trap that, maybe your horse wasn't just right or something, it's going to stand up a little bit better for you and help you that way. So the extra soft tracer, about a 50-foot, and 3/8 scant is what I would recommend for beginner. That being said, that's the rope that will move into the first couple things you need to learn to know to actually rope. Okay, basic terminology of a rope. The knot and the end of it there is called a Honda or a Hondo or a Hondu. However you say it, I don't care. I call it a Honda. Sometimes I'll call it a Hondo. Tomato, tomato, potato, potato. It's all the same. It's the knot and the end of the rope. Okay, the rope's passed through itself, obviously. That's the loop. Pretty self-explanatory, right? The middle of the rope, all of that right there, it's called the body. The very end of the rope, the last couple feet, is called the tail. That's about it. Now, a rope is constructed by twisting strands together. So every time we go to feed a coil into this loop to make it bigger, it has to twist against itself. If not, what'll happen, like right there, I didn't twist it. Okay? You see that twist is in between my hands. If I just slide that Honda up it right there, it gives me a big old nasty figure 8. We don't want that. There is, as far as I'm concerned, and as far as I know, no reason to ever have a figure 8 in your rope. Okay, so if you get a figure 8 in your rope, just drop your loop, shake it out a little bit, and coil it up. Now you notice I'm not just shoving the rope back together. I have to twist it every time I put a coil into it to get it to coil correctly. Kind of like a garden hose. You can't just wad it up. It has to twist. Okay. You get your rope. It's all bright and shiny and brand new. And if it's a tracer, it's probably a little bit sticky. Awesome. First step is build a loop. Easiest way to do it is take your coils in your left hand. Always try and keep your coils somewhat neat and orderly. That's a safety factor. Then just turn that Honda over to the outside. Slide it up. Okay? Do the same thing again. This is the most basic way to build a loop. Again, I'm just rotating it to the outside sliding it up. Okay, once you get a loop built, about 4 coils in it, grab your Honda with your left hand, and then this doubled part of our rope here is called a spoke. Give yourself, from the center of your chest, a full arm's length of spoke. If I touch, I have my spoke. If I touch the tip of my loop to the ground, my hand is just about eye level with me, maybe a touch above. One of the biggest mistakes I see all beginner ropers doing across the board is swinging too small of a loop. Okay, anybody that knows anything about shooting rifles or archery, the bigger the target, easier to hit, right? Same concept. Now, once you can build a loop, drop a loop, coil your rope up, and build another loop proficiently, we can go on to this next step. That is the swing. Everybody's got a bucket around, I'm sure. If not, go to Harbor Freight. They're $5. Your swing is pretty simple. Your palm needs to be down. Okay? Your palm needs to be down in front of you. What'll happen is when you start, you'll want to have a death grip on this rope, and you want to do this great big hokey looking circle thing. Keep your arm a hair out in front of you and down. I'll turn sideways here, and I'll swing at that same angle so you can see where everything is. Okay? The reason that tip is down so far is because that bucket is lower in front of me. The plane that your rope is spinning on, so right here, that plane is down in front of me and up behind me. And now it's up in front of me and down behind me. Okay? That plane that your rope is spinning on dictates where the rope goes when you let it go. No matter where in your swing you let it go, it has to fly that way. That's centrifugal force, I believe it's called. It's the laws of physics. It can't not do that. Even the fanciest shots in the world, they all follow that same general rule. Like a Del Viento, one of the quote unquote hardest shots to throw, it seems to go out there and hang and come back. When you throw that Del Viento, you throw it the same angle, the same plane that you're spinning it, even though the loop doesn't travel linear, so to speak. That's way advanced. Maybe we'll get there. For right now, though, I want that plane of that rope pointing right at that bucket with your palm down in front of you. Okay? Now we're going to practice just walking up and hooking that bucket with that back strand. Okay, if your loop gets a little goofy, just drop it, rebuild another loop. Don't get all stressed out. Ropes don't like to be spun for forever. Just right here. Okay, you see how that back strand hooked it? Once you can do that consistently, don't walk up quite so far and do it again, but open your hand. Okay, that's going to put you right here. Pull your slack, you've caught the bucket. And my other rope because, I got to make a mess. Okay. Caught your bucket, rebuild your loop. You can figure out ways to rebuild that loop faster. The faster you can rebuild the loop, the more loops you can throw, the better you're going to get. Right here, just like I'm going to walk up and hook it with the back strand, right there. You can see that what actually caught that bucket was the back strand the trailing side, if you will, of that loop. I didn't drop it straight on it. I threw it, and as it opened up, that back strand hooked it, brought the rest of the loop around. Okay. Once you get to where you're gonna miss a million times, folks. Don't get discouraged. But one time you're gonna throw it, and that loop is gonna go right there. And you're gonna get all excited, and you're gonna want to rip it like you're, I don't know, pull starting a lawnmower with your left hand or something. Don't do that. Reason being, once we move on to roping horseback, if you get all excited and you go like that, what's gonna happen? That old horse is gonna duck out left, and you're gonna end up right there on your face. One thing I would like to see, and I do tell new ropers to do, is grab a hold of your shirt right above your belly button, okay? Gonna catch our bucket. This hand can't go nowhere now, just like it won't be able to on a horse because it'll have our reins in our hand. So that's gonna allow me, it's gonna force me then to use my right hand to pull my slack, okay? That's probably all the more you guys need to focus on right now, being episode 1. Again, quick recap. Palm down in front, not sideways, not up. It don't work that way, okay? You can see how bad it goofs the loop up. Palm down in front, get that rope to where it's cutting that bucket, cutting the top off that bucket every time it comes around, so to speak. Walk up to it, lay that back strand down. You're gonna wanna go like that with your thumb up, your palm sideways to catch the bucket. That's incorrect. You're swinging with your palm down in front. Same thing right here, boom. It slides off of that bucket, but you can see that back strand hits it. Once you can do that, okay, same thing right here. If you noticed, I have to open my left hand to let a coil fall out right there. If you don't, this is what'll happen. It's gonna stop it short on the right side of it. So, you got your shirt here, say grab your shirt, or just practice having your hand above your belly button. Now, when you throw this, one coil pops out. Just one. That's all we're doing right now. Okay? Don't get to starting a lawnmower by ripping its head off with the left hand. Pull it slack with your right hand. All right, guys. Get yourself a rope. RubeckNevada.com is a great spot to get them. This is an extra soft tracer. That is what I would recommend for beginners. I would recommend about 50 foot. If you have little tiny hands, get a 40 foot. That's pretty short to learn to rope with, but it'll make you better in the long run that way. Please, 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 please do 2 things for me. 3 things for me. Practice every day. It takes hours to build this skill. It takes a lifetime to build this skill. Number 2, video yourself on your phone and compare your mechanics to my mechanics on this video. If you really study the differences, you'll figure out why something's not working for you. And number 3, please, 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 folks, do not hesitate to leave questions in the comments. If it's a simple question I can answer in a reply to a comment, I will. If it needs a video explanation, that'll be next week's video. So please, please, please ask comments, folks. Ask questions and leave comments. This Friday, we're turning cows out up north. It's our last day up there. After that, we're going down to southern Nevada, actually over to Utah for the Bundy Ranch Rodeo. And then after that, we got 5 days gathering and sorting on the coast in California. So we got a lot of videos coming up. How far we take this How to Rope series is up to you guys. I will take it as far as I can. I will share all my knowledge with you. You just have to ask questions and stay interested. All right, folks. We'll see you. Appreciate it.